This video demonstrates how to train sitting down and how to check that this movement is performed correctly. The optimal value for the stance phase flexion resistance is determined in the course of the exercise. Weight can be distributed evenly on both legs when sitting down with the C-brace. This can relieve the musculoskeletal system, and the long-term effects caused by physical strain on one side of the body can be prevented. If the stance phase flexion resistance is too low, the patient will sit down too quickly without control. The patient will not feel sufficiently supported and will use the contralateral leg and the armrests to compensate for the load. In this case, the O&P professional should increase the stance phase flexion resistance in the Setup app. If the stance phase flexion resistance is set too high, the patient will sit down too slowly. It will be difficult to flex the knee against the excessively high resistance. In this case, the O&P professional should reduce the stance phase flexion resistance until the patient has good support while moving at an appropriate speed. In a second step, the therapist checks whether equal weight is being placed on both legs. She does this by placing 2 cards under the patient's feet. If one of the cards can be easily pulled out while she is in the process of sitting down, the patient can see that her center of gravity is positioned too far over her contralateral leg. The patient needs to learn to place more weight on the leg with the orthosis. Weight distribution is optimal if both cards are held securely with the feet while sitting down. The stance phase flexion resistance may need to be adjusted again if required. While standing up, the patient makes sure that both feet are at the same height, that she is placing weight on the leg with the orthosis, that her upper body is shifted forwards, and that she uses the armrests to stand up. The stance phase flexion resistance is now set, and the patient can sit down in a controlled manner. The sitting function makes it easier for the patient to position her leg while sitting. The resistance is reduced to a minimum in both directions in this case. The sitting function is activated automatically when the thigh is nearly horizontal and there is no load on the leg with the orthosis.